Hey, Jonathan here, and in this video we're going to be going over how to do the headstand. And this move is great for building core strength, building some upper body strength, also working on balance. So if you're wanting to go into more advanced things like the handstand and things like that, this can be a helpful move for getting into that. Now, I do have to warn you though that this move can be very dangerous, especially for certain people. For example, if you have high blood pressure, you do not want to be doing this move. The reason is when you're upside down inverted like that, you have a lot of blood rushing to your head. If you have high blood pressure, you're just going to have more pressure going into your head, and this can cause damage. Also, if you have glaucoma, things like this, weak eye muscles, if you have a neck injury, if you have any of those type of things, do not do this move. It's not worth it. And I'm going to be sharing with you some other exercises at the end so that you can do those instead of doing this move if you want to build that strength and core strength, so you don't have to do it if you don't want to. But this is a fun move, and if you can do it, I'd recommend it because it's fun and it has a lot of great benefits. Now, I've seen a lot of videos that talk about a lot of different benefits. Well, based on the research I've done, there's really no scientific evidence to really support a lot of claims that I saw. But what I did see is that you can build core strength, you can build upper body strength, it can help improve some circulation, give you some extra energy just from the transfer of blood back and forth. But again, be safe with this move. So we're going to be going over 3 steps to get into this move and how to do it safely. Now, after this video, I want you to watch the whole thing because I'm also going to be sharing with you a free 5-minute mobility in-home exercise routine that you can do. It only takes 5 minutes. You can do it every morning to boost energy. So make sure to stay to the end. First, let me show you what this move looks like, and then we'll break it down for you. So once you get this basic down, I mean, you can do a lot of different movements. You can go side to side with your legs. You can twist. There's a lot of fun things that you can do once you've gotten this down. But let's just start with a normal headstand at first. All right, now that you know what this looks like, let's break this down for you. We're going to do 3 simple steps for this. The first one, and probably the most important, is building the foundation. Now, the whole time you're doing this move, I want you to think of a few things. The first is that you want to have as little pressure on your head as possible. You don't want to be supporting all of your weight on your neck. This part of your neck is not designed to support that much weight, and it can cause serious injury. So you always want to remember just light pressure on your head. You just want to use it for extra support and balance. The other thing is with the shoulders, when you're pushing them down, we don't want to be lifted up with the shoulders. We want them pushed down so we can really support ourselves and lift ourselves up and use this shoulder strength instead of relying on the head. And then the other thing is with our hips, we're going to be using our hips to really get us into the position. And we'll be going over that in just a second. So for setting up the base, what we're going to do is first start off in a tabletop position. So we're going to activate our feet. Our toes are going to be on the ground like so. We're going to be on our knees. And our hands are going to be in front of us. We're going to have our back straight. And we want our hands to be shoulder width apart. This is how we're going to start. And then we're going to drop down to the elbows. So the elbows are going to drop down to where our palms are in this position. So they're going to drop down. And then from here, here's a little nifty thing to make sure you're always in the right position. Take your hands and you can clasp them. If you can see, I was a little bit too wide. I can bring them in just slightly. You want to be able to clasp your fingers just right around your elbows. And then get ready to go into position. So what we're going to do is put our hands out like so in front of us, and we're going to clasp our fingers together. We're going to squeeze tight, and we're going to hold this nice and tight. We're even going to cross our thumbs. Now, a big thing about crossing the thumbs is that this is going to give us a lot of extra support for this triangle base. If we let our thumbs hang out, which I've seen a lot in other videos, the problem with this is we tend to let our forearms flare out, and this puts us in a weak position. So we want to stack our radius and ulna like so that way we have really good support, and an easy way to make sure we do that is by crossing the thumbs. And then with the pinkies, to make this more comfortable, we can tuck the bottom pinky. So we tuck the bottom pinky under like so that way we can make a nice little shelf for our support. So then what we're going to do, once you've got this, I want you to check yourself with this position. So check yourself and make sure that you can support yourself by doing this little movement right here. If you can do this comfortably, then you can move to the next part of this foundation. So if you can do that, then what we're going to do is place our head down. Now we're going to place the top of our head and back it up right against our hands like this. Because this is what we're going to be using to go into the position. And so once we have this down, and we've placed our head down, remember, light pressure, we're going to lift our hips up and use our feet to pull our hips up, and we're going to slowly walk our feet to get ready to go into the next position. So we're here, and remember, light pressure on the head. You need to be able to move your head around if you want. We want to support ourselves with our shoulders here. So we're not going to use our head to support ourselves. We're keeping this safe and light. So once we have this, then we go into step 2. So you need to make sure that you're comfortable in this position. You feel good and strong in this position, and then we move on to step 2. Step 2 is we're going to start to go into the position. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift one leg, tuck it really tight, push our hips back so that we can get good balance, and then slowly lift that other leg into a tucked position. And then from here, so making sure at this point that you have really good support, meaning you're not putting all the pressure on your head, you can talk normally. So if you can hear me talk normally, that means I'm in a good position. And then what we're going to do is slowly lift the legs up. And what I like to do sometimes is just start by pulling the knees up, and then once the knees are pretty far up there, then we can extend them. And then right here, we just hold into this bounce. And again, you want to be able to, I'm putting very little pressure on my head right now. Most of my support is using my shoulders and stacking my joints. And so once you have that, remember, the last part is just hold this bounce. So what you want to do is tighten that core. Tighten your buttocks muscles. Squeeze tight and straighten. Extend as far as you can and hold that bounce. Because that's the third step, is just holding that balance, keeping your core strong. And then from there, we're going to slowly lower down and come back down to the ground. And now before you raise up, this is very important. We just had a lot of blood rush to our head. So what we want to do to make sure you don't stand up and pass out or something is that you want to just stay here for a little bit, maybe put the feet down, rock back and forth, just a little bit to let the blood adjust, and then slowly raise back up. And that's the headstand. Now, if you're first getting into this move, it can be pretty difficult. So here are a few things. First, you can use a wall to help support yourself so that if you don't have to worry about falling over on your balance. And so to do that, all you do is where you place your hands for your foundation, that you'd be pretty much right up against the wall with your hands. Maybe like an inch or two away from the wall, and then practice going up against the wall like so. Now, for some of us, that's pretty hard right now. And so what you need to do is, I'm going to give you 2 exercises you can do to help build the strength for this move. And also if you have injuries or you have high blood pressure and things like that, these other 2 options or other 2 moves can be a great way to build that strength without having the risk associated with the headstand. So the first one is just a simple plank. And the plank is really going to help develop that core. It's going to help a little bit with the shoulders. So again, we'll start by doing the exact same thing we did before. Tabletop, place the elbows down, shoulder width apart. We can place our hands or palms on the ground, or we can keep them straight like so. And what we're going to do is extend our legs out, tighten our butt, and keep our back straight, keep our head straight, and just hold this position. And we can hold this to really, what this does is stabilizes all these core muscles, so we're really having a hold here. And then we can add some extra things if we want. We can, change it up. We can do a little balancing. So it's a great exercise. The second exercise I have for you is called the dolphin. And what's cool about this is that it's very similar to what we'd be doing to go into the headstand. And so you're going to build your foundation, like we talked about before. You're here, build that foundation. And then, except instead of placing our head on the ground, we're just going to lift up. So we're not using our head at all. So there's no risk right there And all you're gonna do is lift those hips up. And to make it a little bit harder, we can go up, we can walk back down, we can do, we can do this movement right here so that we're building that strength with our shoulders without that extra risk. So you can use those two moves to help build strength, and it's also a great way to also build into the headstand if that's what you want to do. So that's it for this video. Now, I have something really special for you. If you haven't picked this up yet, we have a 5-minute morning mobility and flexibility session that you can do, and you can pick that up by going to the description down below and downloading that. And so you get some nice simple exercises you can do in the morning to boost energy. Very simple and a lot of fun. Now, if you have any more questions or anything, be sure to put that down in the comment section below. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like this. And then I think Thomas is going to, you haven't seen him in this video yet, so.
I'm gonna try it out. Let's see if I